Good morning, everyone. Today, our group will be presenting on the Module 8, which is the Product Pricing and Services and Nonprofit Organization in Marketing. Our presentation will be explore the fundamental concept of pricing in business, including the role of in the economy, various pricing objectives, demand and cost determinants, and advanced pricing methodologies. So let's move on to the slide 1, which is importance of price. This slide establishes the foundational role of pricing in both macroeconomic and business contexts. Pricing serves a critical mechanism that distributes goods and services throughout the economy by sending signals about value and scarcity. At the economy-wide level, prices determine which consumers, governments, and businesses receive which resources based on willingness and ability to pay. For individual business naman, price is not merely a number but a very engine of revenue generation. Since ang revenue natin is price times quantity sold. Kaya it drives all businesses activities from paying employees to funding research and development. And pricing decisions are among the most consensual a business makes. So, price is the monetary value exchanged for goods and services, representing what consumers sacrifice to obtain benefits. While revenue naman is the total income streams generated through sales, calculated by multiplying price by the quantity sold. And profit is the ultimate financial goal for most businesses, determined by subtracting all expenses from the revenue. This economic foundation explains why pricing strategy deserves executive-level attention and careful analysis. Poor pricing decision can undermine even exceptional products or services, while strategic pricing can significantly enhance and profitable even without product improvements. So in next slide, which is pricing objectives. This slide should demonstrate the pricing decisions aren't made in isolation but aligned with broader business objectives. Companies approach pricing with different primary goals that reflect their market position, competitive strategy, and financial requirements. Profit-oriented pricing ay nakafocus sa financial returns through the three main approaches, which are profit maximization, satisfactory profit levels, and return on investment or ROI. Sa profit maximization, setting prices to achieve the highest possible profit margin. Kailangan talaga nating mag-set ng mas mataas na profit margin in order to parang mas makuha natin yung goal natin na profit, tsaka mas ma-challenge pa tayo sa susunod pa na project or researches na gagawin natin. Next is satisfactory profit levels, which is targeting comfortable profit threshold that satisfies stakeholders. Siyempre, kailangan pag meron na tayong, alam mo yon target na meron din tayong mga consumer na talagang alam naman nating bibili sa atin. So, kailangan agad na natin masama siya dun sa profit natin, or ayun yung agad natin na iisipin na kailangan nating ma-target. Next one is the return on investment, which is setting prices to achieve specific returns relative to the invested capital. Siyempre, kailangan natin magkaroon ng ROI kasi once na walang ROI, of course, malulugi yung business natin. So, in the sales-oriented pricing, priorities market presence and volume through market share maintenance, which is the pricing to protect existing customers based on competitive position, and sales maximization, which is setting prices to drive maximum volume and potentially at lower margins. Next is this slide also provides important metrics for evaluating the price's success in ROI by calculating the net profit after taxes divided by total assets. It connects the pricing directly to the investment of efficiency. Next one is the market share measurement, which is company sales as percentage in the industry total, helps to track competitive position. And lastly is the status quo pricing represents the defensive approach where stability and competitive matching take precedence over optimization. So each objective requires different pricing tactics and entails different risks. Profits maximization might sacrifice volume. Pwede din yung sales maximization while it erodes margins. Dito tayo magkakaroon ng choice whether it depends on the company's circumstances, industry dynamics, and strategic priorities. So let's move on to the third slide, which is the demand determinant of price. And this explains the slide that explores the consumer side on the pricing equation through demand analysis. Before setting prices, companies must understand how consumer will respond to different price points. So, di ba kaya nga tayo nagsa-survey doon sa PCIB natin para makita natin kung bebenta ba natin yung isang product, kung mabibili ba siya, kung kaya ba kung feasible ba siya, kung kaya ba natin siyang ibenta sa mga tao, kung meron man bang masusuplayan o meron mag-cater ng product natin. So, ayun yun. Kaya kailangan talaga yung demand determinant of price. It also a fundamental principle of demand curve showing inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded establishes that price increases typically reduce sales volume while price decreases typically increase it. The critical factor determining the magnitude of the relationship and elasticity of demand. The slides elaborate on several crucial economic concepts, which is the demand, supply, elasticity of demand, elastic demand, and inelastic demand. Demand explains the relationship between price points and corresponding quantities consumers will purchase during a specific time frame. While supply naman is the relationship between price points and corresponding quantities suppliers will provide. Next is the elasticity of demand, the degree of consumer sensitivity to price changes measured by percentage change in quantity demanded relative to the percentage change in price. Next is elastic demand, which it will happen when price changes cause proportionally larger changes in quantity demanded. It commonly parati siya nangyayari sa mga luxury good products na may many substitutes. Lastly is the inelastic demand, which is when a price changes cause proportionally smaller changes in quantity demanded, or ito yung common for necessities, unique products, or a addictive goods. So understanding this dynamic allows businesses to predict how price changes will affect not just unit of sales but a total of revenue. For product and elastic demand, price increases can actually decrease total revenue despite higher per unit prices for inelastic products. Price will increase can both boost revenue because the decreased volume is proportionally smaller than the price increase. So, ang kailangan natin natutunan natin dito is kailangan effective ang pricing strategy para yung consumer research to determine para kung yung elastic spectrum of a product falls and how price sensitivity varies across different customer segments. So let's move on to the dynamic pricing and yield management. This slide introduces advanced technology-enabled pricing approaches that respond to market conditions in real time. These sophisticated strategies have transformed industries by allowing businesses to capture more consumer surplus and optimize capacity utilization. Dynamic pricing represents the evolution from static pricing models to responsive systems that can adjust to changes in demand patterns throughout the day, week, or season. It also responds to the competitive price movement quickly. And it also implement different prices for different customer segments simultaneously. And lastly, it also maximizes revenue by charging what the market will bear at any given moment. So let's explain the yield management system. This takes a concept further by applying a mathematical optimization to capacity constrained businesses. This system uses advanced in algorithms to identify optimal price points for different booking windows. Next one is strategically discount early purchases to ensure baseline capacity utilization. Thirdly is the limit availability of this a discount to preserve opportunity for higher paying later customers. And lastly is it also intentionally overbook capacity based on historical no-show patterns. Minsan lang naman to nangyayari yung intentionally overbook. So this slide highlights how these approaches have revolutionized service industries like airlines, hotels, and entertainment venues, but are increasingly being adopted in retail and other sectors by precisely matching price to willingness to pay at different times and for different segments. Businesses can substantially increase revenue without changing their core. Next is the cost determinant of price. This slide shift focus to supply side considerations of pricing, examining how costs create a foundation upon which pricing decisions are built. And ito din yung papakita sa market factors how will be determined, what can be changed, cost determined, what must be charged for business viability. In these slides, detail several cost-based pricing approaches, which are markup pricing, keystoning, break-even analysis. Ayan yung mga pwede natin gamitin dito sa cost determinant of price. So markup pricing, the traditional retail or wholesale method, adding a percentage to the purchase cost to cover expense and profit. Keystoning, this is the retail practice of doubling wholesale cost, which is a 100% markup as a standard pricing approach. Lastly is the break-even analysis, which is calculating the sales volumes required at a given price point for the total revenue to equal the total cost. This slide also distinguishes between the variable cost and the fixed cost. Ang pinagkaiba ng variable cost is expense that change proportionally with production volume. Pasok dito yung materials and direct labors. Sa fixed cost naman, expenses that remain constant regardless of the production volume, which is the rent, equipment, and base staffing. Lagi po natin tatandaan, ang variable cost is nag-change, while ang fixed cost naman is nagre-remain constant. So, in this distinction, this is crucial because the ratio of fixed to variable cost affects pricing flexibility. Businesses with high fixed costs like software companies can discount deeply once the costs are covered, while businesses with high variable costs like jewelry retailers have less flexibility. In the break-even analysis, help businesses understand the volume implication of pricing decisions and identify minimum viable price points. This approach connects pricing directly to the financial sustainability and operational efficiency, ensuring that market-based pricing strategies remain grounded in economic reality. So next one is how to set a price for a product. The final slide integrates various pricing factors into a comprehensive framework that accounts for products' life cycle dynamics and marketing evolution. It recognizes that optimal pricing isn't static but evolve as products mature and competitive conditions change. This slide outlines the typical pricing progression, which is the introductory stage, growth stage, and maturity stage. In the introductory stage, higher prices often used for new products to capture early adopter willingness to pay and recover development costs. While in the growth state, competitive entry begins driving prices downward as the similar offering emerge. Lastly is the maturity stage. Price competition intensifies as the products become commoditized. This slide also addresses the distribution's considerations, noting the manufacturers sometimes offer larger than usual margins to secure retail distribution for new products. This acknowledges the pricing strategies must account for the entire value chain's economics. The mention of internet price transparency highlights how technology has fundamentally changed the information asymmetry that once existed between sellers and buyers. Modern consumers can easily compare prices across multiple sellers, limiting prices disparities for identical products and shifting competition towards differentiation of services elements. This slide also concluded by noting that quality perception influences pricing strategies, recognizing the psychological dimension of pricing where consumers often use price as a quality signal. Premium pricing can actually enhance perceived value for certain products, while bargain pricing might create quality concerns. So, in my part, this is my last slide. So, I will be explaining how to set a price on a product. These slides represent the comprehensive framework of establishing product pricing through the systematic four-step process, which is complemented by definitions of fundamental pricing strategies. So the four steps of pricing process is first, establishing pricing goals. Second is estimating demand, cost, and profits. Thirdly is choosing a price policy to help determine a base price. And fourthly, and definitely last not the least, is fine-tuning the base price with pricing tactics. So the first step is to determine the product pricing involves clearly defining what the company aims to achieve through its pricing decision. This foundational step requires companies to identify their primary objectives, which might include maximizing profits, increasing market share, achieving a specific return on investment, or establishing a certain quality positioning in the market. By establishing concrete pricing goals that align with broader business objectives, companies create a strategic foundation for all subsequent pricing decisions. This step ensures that pricing isn't arbitrary but purposely designed to support specific business outcomes. Next one is estimating demand, cost, and profits, which is the second step that involves gathering and analyzing critical data to understand the financial implication of various pricing options. This requires the conducting of market research to estimate demand and different price points and evaluate price elasticity. Next one is calculating of variable and fixed costs associated with the product. Thirdly is the projecting potential profits under different pricing scenarios. And lastly is analyzing competitors' pricing strategies and market positioning. This step analysis provides the quantitative foundation for informed pricing decisions, allowing companies to understand the financial consequences of different points and how variation might affect sales volume and overall profitability. Throughout forecasting at this stage, it helps to avoid pricing errors that could damage the profitability of market position. So in the step 3, choosing the price policy to help determine the base price. The third step involves selecting the overreaching pricing methodology that best aligns with the company's goals and market conditions. This might include cost plus pricing, value-based pricing, competition-based pricing, or other establishing pricing methodologies. This policy decision establishes the general approach for calculating the base price, providing a systematic framework rather than arbitrary pricing decision. The price policy connects the company's strategic goals to practical price calculations, ensuring consistency across the product line or business units. And the last step, which is the fine-tuning the base price with pricing tactics. The final step involves adjusting the established base price using various tactical approaches to optimize for specific market condition and customer segment or short-term objectives. These tactical adjustments might include first is promotional discount for new consumer acquisition. Secondly is the volume-based discount to encourage larger purchases. And thirdly is the geographic price variation to account for the different regional markets. Fourthly is the special pricing different distribution channels. And lastly is the seasonal adjustment to respond to the demand of fluctuation. The forces fine-tuning ensures the base price is appropriately adapted to diverse market conditions while maintaining alignment with overall pricing strategies. These steps transform a statistic price forms into a dynamic tool that can respond to changing market conditions and specific customers' requirements. So, sa key pricing strategies defined, pricing strategies, price scheming, and penetration of price. Sa price strategy, nire-represent nga yung fundamental long-term pricing framework that guides into a initial price setting but also how prices will evolve through the product's life cycle. While price scheming naman, this involves deliberately setting high introductory prices when a product first enters the market. While the penetration pricing, in contrast to scheming, penetration pricing sets a deliberately low initial prices to rapidly capture the substantial market share. So, in these slides, each of these strategies represent fundamentally different approaches to market entry and price positioning. So, may iba-iba talaga siyang purpose para sa bawat step na binigay ko, with significant implication for revenue generation, competitive positioning, and customer perception. The choice between these strategies depends on factors including product uniqueness and market competition, production, economics, and brand positioning objectives.
The legality of price strategy. Sa ilalim ng batas, bawal ang unfair na paraan ng pagpepresyo tulad ng sabuatan para pataasin o pababain ng presyo. Ginagawa ito para maprotektahan ng mga consumers at fair ang competition sa market. Example, pinagmulta yung dalawang supermarket kasi nagkasundo sila sa parehong presyo ng bigas nila, kaya walang choice sa mga tao kundi bumili sa mahal. Unfair Trade Practice Act. Bawal ang gumawa ng paraan na sobrang ibaba ang presyo ng produkto para lang pabagsakin ng kalaban sa negosyo. Hindi ito healthy sa competition kasi pinapahirapan mo ang ibang businesses para sila magsara. Example is, binagsak ni Store A yung presyo ng gulay niya para mawalan ng customer si Store B at pilitang magsara. Price fixing. Illegal kapag nag-uusap-usap ang mga magkakalabang kumpanya para sabay-sabay magtaas o magbaba ng presyo. Dapat independent lang lagi yung pricing decisions nila. Example nito is kapag nagplano yung dalawang, for example, mayroon tatlong drugstore tapos nagplano sila na sabay-sabay ibenta yung Biogesic sa halagang 100 kahit normally dapat magkaiba yung presyo nila. Base price. Ito ang original o unang presyo ng isang produkto bago pa ito lagyan ng discount, promos, o special offers. Example, nagkagusto ko sa isang laptop na may base price na 30,000 bago pa ma-apply yung back to school discount. Yun yung example ng base price. Quantity discount. Kapag maramihan kang bumili, binibigyan ka ng seller ng discount para ma-encourage kang bumili pa ng mas marami. Example, ako ulit bumili ng 100 na notebooks para sa school supplies business. Kaya binigyan siya ng supplier ng 10% discount. Cumulative quantity discount. Hindi kailangan isang ibagsakan ng pagbili para makakuha ng discount. Iniipon ng total purchase mo over time at doon ka mabibigyan ng reward o discount. Example, si Mark bumili ng sapatos buwan-buwan. At after ng 3 months, nakaipon siya ng sapat para makakuha ng additional 5% discount sa total purchases niya. Next is cash discount. Binibigyan ng discount ang mga customers kapag mabilis sila magbayad para ma-encourage ang mga early payments at mabilis ang cash flow ng business. Example is, kung babayaran mo ang utang mo within 7 days, may less 500 ka sa total amount na kailangan mong bayaran. Functional discount or trade discount. Discount na binibigay sa mga middlemen tulad ng wholesalers or retailers bilang reward sa pagsusuporta nila sa pag-promote at pagbenta ng produkto. Example, binigyan ng supplier ng 10% discount ang isang coffee shop na lagi nagpo-promote ng bagong kape nila sa social media. Next is seasonal discount. Binibigay ang discount kapag ang produkto ay out of season na para hindi masayang ang stocks at makabenta pa rin. Example, bumili si Mark ng Christmas light noong January kaya nakasale ito ng 50% kasi tapos na ang holiday season. Promotional allowance or trade allowance. Bayad na binibigay sa stores para mag-promote ng product tulad ng paglalagay ng best spot ng tindahan o paglalagay ng poster. Example, nagbigay si Coke ng cash incentive sa sari-sari store para i-display sa harapan ng tindahan yung bagong flavor ng soft drinks nila. Next is rebate. Refund na makukuha mo pagtapos mo bumili ng product. Kadalasan para ma-encourage ang pagbili. Example, si Mark na bumili ng bago cellphone. Tapos, after a few weeks, nakatanggap siya ng 1,000 pesos na rebate na ibinalik sa kanya ng manufacturer. FOB origin pricing. Sa ganitong setup, si buyer ang bahala sa pagbayad ng shipping mula sa location ng seller hanggang sa kanya. Ito yung example. Nag-order si Mark ng malaking furniture from Cebu at siya ang nagbayad ng shipping cost papunta sa Manila. Next is uniform delivered pricing. Ito yung lahat ng customers kahit saan sila located, pare-pareho ang delivery charge na binabayaran nila. Example, kahit nasa Luzon ako or sa Mindanao, fixed price na 200 pesos lang yung delivery sa online store. Zone pricing. Iba-iba ang delivery fee depende kung saan zone ka nakatira. Mas malayo, mas mahal. Example, 100 pesos yung delivery fees kapag taga Metro Manila ka. Pero 300 naman kapag outside ka ng Metro Manila. Freight absorption pricing. Sa strategy na to, si seller ang sasalo o sasagot sa shipping fee para mas maging attractive ang offer sa buyers. Example, may promo si Lazada ng free shipping. Pero yung totoo, ang seller ay magbabayad ng delivery fee para hindi na hassle sa buyer. Basing point pricing. Kahit saan galing ang produkto, ang shipping charge ay nakabase sa isang fixed city na napagkasunduan. Example, kahit nasa Pampanga yung warehouse ng supplier, sa Manila pa rin ang base ng computation ng shipping fee. Next is single price tactic. Lahat ng products under sa kategory ng iisang presyo kahit magkaiba pa ang quality o design nila. Example nito, yung lahat ng t-shirt sa sale rack ay $199 kahit anong style o size pa yan. Next is flexible pricing or also known as variable pricing. Ito naman yung iba-iba yung presyo depende sa customer o sa negotiation. Walang fixed price para sa lahat. Example sa palengke, pwedeng mas mura mabili ang mangga kung sakaling magaling kang tumawad kumpara sa iba. And last is the price lining. Products ay nakagroup sa price level para mas madaling pumili ang customer at may fixed options ka lang. Example, lahat ng sapatos sa store ay naka-price sa $999, $1499, or $1999. Walang ibang presyo sa gitna.
Leader pricing or yung loss leader pricing. Price tactic in which a product is sold near or even below cost in the hope that shopper will buy other items once they are in the store. So ito yung way of pinapababa nila yung mga prices ng mga product to attract customer in the stores. Like, yung mga customers, instead na yung mababay lang nila yung mga discounted products, nakakabay din sila ng mga higher margins na items. Bait pricing, a price tactic that tries to get consumers into a store through false or misleading price advertising and then uses high pressure selling to persuade customer to buy more expensive merchandise. So ito yung rate kung kapag yung retailer ini-advertise yung product na mas mura para lang makadraw ng attention or ng mga customers. Pero kapag yung mga customers nasa store na, they're being persuaded na to buy more product na mas mahal kesa dun sa mga mas mura. Odd-even pricing, ito yung price tactic that uses odd number prices to connote bargains and even numbered prices to imply quality. Ito yung pricing technique na, kunwari, yung pricing product niya is $9.99 instead na $10.00. So, nag-a-appear nga naman siya ng mas mura. So, nakaka-attract siya ng customers. Price bundling, marketing two or more product in single package for special price. So, ito yung nag-involve siya ng selling two or more product together as a single package. Parang yung sa mga promo. Para it encourage customers to buy more items and at the same time, nag-increase yung perceived value dun sa offer. Two-part pricing, a price tactic that charges two separate amounts to consume a single good or for service. This strategy involves charging the customer in two separate components. Kunwari, yung membership fee, iba pa yung fee nun sa usage fee. Like, kunyari sa gym o sa club, iba pa yung additional cost niya, which is yung usage fee. Consumer penalty, an extra fee paid by the consumer by violating the terms of the purchase agreement. Ito yung extra charge applied kapag kunyari yung customer na fail niya to comply the certain rules or yung agreement nyo. So, there's fees like kunyari yung late payment fees, early cancellation fee, or yung mga penalties. Services in non-profit organization marketing. The importance of services. The service sector plays a crucial role in the U.S. economy. In 2016, service industries accounted for 80% of U.S. economic output. Services have unique characteristics that distinguish them from goods, and marketing strategies need to be adjusted for these characteristics. So, yung services is different siya from physical product, which is yung mga phones, clothes, and shoes. Ang services is more likely unseen, cannot be touched. So, more likely na offered lang sila from and nagba-vary yung quality niya from who and when na offer yung service. Like, kunyari, giving a haircut, that's a service. Teaching a class, that's a service. How services differ from goods. Services are distinguished by four characteristics. Services are intangible performances in that they lack clearly identifiable physical characteristics. making it difficult for marketers to communicate their specific benefits to potential customers. The production and consumption of services occurs simultaneously. Services are heterogeneous because their quality depends on such elements as service provider, individual consumer, location, and the like. Finally, services are perishable in the sense that they cannot be stored or saved. As a result, synchronizing supply with demand is particularly challenging in service industry. So to conclude, services are different from products because they cannot be touched or di sila nakikita. They are just being used by being provided and yung quality nila nagbabari and nagbabase kung sino yung nagbigay and saan galing yung services. Intangibility, ito yung services na to be touched or seen. Hindi sila, dito pumapasok yung difference niya sa product na physical like mga phones. In service quality, characteristics that can be easily assessed before purchase. So, it means ito yung, i-check muna nila yung quality ng isang product or service bago nila bibilhin. Experience quality, characteristics that can be assessed after only use. So, mada-judge mo lang yung service or yung product kapag na-try mo na siya. Presence quality, characteristics that consumer may have difficulty assessing even after purchase because they do not have the necessary knowledge or experience. Ito yung hard to judge kasi after using it, wala kang idea kung magiging maganda ba yung quality or magiging maganda ba yung experience mo. Parang ano lang siya, like a medical treatment or a car repair. Hindi mo malalaman agad kung magiging okay ba yung result. And separability, the inability of production and consumption of a service to be separated, consumers must be present during the production. So this service happens while using it. So you have to be there, like dapat nandun ka. Like kunyari, kapag nagpapagupit ka, you need to be present. Heterogeneity, the variability of the inputs and outputs of services which causes services to tend to be less standardized and uniform than goods. So, ito yung services na magkakaiba each time depending sa kung sino magbibigay, kung saan at paano. Hindi siya laging same. Perishability, the inability of services to be stored, warehoused, or inventoried. So, yung services, ito yung hindi siya pwedeng later or i-save siya for later. Like, hindi ka pwedeng mag-save ng empty seat sa isang plane kasi hindi naman forever yung plane flight na yun. Service quality. Service quality has 5 components. First is yung reliability, yung pagiging reliable mo, like doing the service consistently. Responsiveness, ito yung pagiging dapat ready ka, like to be helpful service. Assurance, ito yung knowledge and yung trustworthy of a staff. Yung empathy, ito yung caring and also personalized attention sa'yo. Intangibles, ito yung physical appearance or yung physical evidence of a service. The GAP model identifies 5 key discrepancy that can influence customers' evaluation of a service quality. So, the GAP model shows na kapag bigger yung gap between what customers expects and what they receive, the lower the service quality. So, closing these gaps, it can lead to a better service quality. 5 key discrepancy that can influence customer evaluations of service quality. Gap 1 is the found between customers' expectation and management perception of those expectations. So, ito yung difference kung ano yung ina-expect ng customers sa ina-expect ng management. Gap 2 is found between management perception of what the customer wants and the specification for service quality. So, ito yung gap between sa management understanding of a customer needs and kung paano talaga yung service, kung paano na-design yung service. Kunwari, yung management knows how speed matters, but the system is na-set up siya in prioritized detailed explanation instead. Gap 3 is found between service quality specification and delivery of services. So, ito yung gap ng service supposed to be delivered siya. Pero on how actually it is. Like, the company policy says responses must be 24 hours, but ang employees, madaling lang sila mag-reply or even late pa sila mag-reply. Gap 4 is found between service delivery and what the company promises to the customer through external communication. In here, ito yung a difference ng what is promised. Kung ano talaga yung na-deliver. Kunyari sabi, 24/7 support. But the help desk is only open during the office hours. So, hindi siya accurate. Gap 5 is found between customer service expectation and their perception of service performances. So, in here, yung difference niya is between the service customer, kung ano in-expect niya, and kung ano talaga nakukuha nila. Example, yung service was okay naman, but not as amazing as the customers hope. Kung ano, parang there's a disappointment on it. So, in short, the bigger these gaps are, the more customers feel disappointed. Mawawala ng customers dahil dun sa nakukuwang services. And the smaller the gaps, the better the perceived service quality. Service quality, first we have the reliability, the ability to perform a service dependently, accurately, and consistently. So it means doing the service correctly or consistently na every time sa mga customer to count on it. Responsiveness, the ability to provide prompt service, wherein it means a quick or willing to help the consumers kapag kailangan nila ng service or support.
Assurance. Assurance is about the confidence and trust customers have in a company's employees. It involves the skills, training, and courtesy of staff that make customers feel safe and valued. In services, where outcomes aren't always tangible, customers rely on the competence of employees to ensure quality. This competence is especially important when services are high risk or require confidentiality. Empathy. Empathy means delivering personalized, caring service. It's about understanding the unique needs and emotions of each customer and responding appropriately. Companies that practice empathy build stronger emotional connections, leading to higher customer loyalty. This is crucial in industries like healthcare, hospitality, and education, where human interaction plays a central role. Tangibles. Though services are mostly intangible, tangibles refers to the physical elements associated with a service, like equipment, employee appearance, brochures, ambience, or infrastructure. These elements help shape a customer's perception of service quality. For example, a clean and modern hotel lobby gives the impression of high service standards. Gap model. The gap model identifies discrepancies between customers' expectations and perceptions. It outlines 5 gaps. Gap 1 is between what customers expect and what management thinks they expect. Gap 2 is between management perceptions and service quality specifications. Gap 3 is between service quality specifications and the service actually delivered. Gap 4 is between service delivery and external communication. Gap 5 is between expected service and perceived service. This model is used to improve service quality by identifying which gaps exist and how to close them. Marketing mixes for services. In marketing for services, strategy is a bit different from marketing physical products because services are intangible. You can't hold or store them. Therefore, special strategies are needed. Here's what it involves. First is product strategy issues. In services, the product isn't a physical object. It can be something like knowledge, a process, or an experience. Service marketers must decide what is being processed. Are they handling people, possession, mental stimuli, or information? Standardization versus customization. Will services be the same for everyone or adjusted individually? Core and supplementary services focus on defining the main benefit and supporting extras that enhance the customer experience. Distribution or place strategy. Service distribution focuses on making services easily accessible to customers. Important decisions include number of services outlets, direct versus indirect delivery, managing how services are physically and digitally delivered, the use of personal sources of information, and building strong internal organizations image. Promotion strategy. Since services can't be shown physically, communication strategies like advertising, personal selling, and public relations became even more vital. Stressing service quality, reliability, and customer satisfaction is key. Example, showing testimonials, awards, or success stories in ads. Next is pricing strategy. Pricing services is tricky because customers can't always see the value immediately. Pricing needs to reflect the perceived value of the service, be consistent with the target market, and manage capacity and demand. Core service is the main reason the customer is buying the service. For example, at a hotel, the core service is providing a place to stay. Supplementary services. These are extras that support or enhance the core service. For example, free breakfast, concierge service, or fitness center at the hotel. Mass customization. This is about using technology and flexible processes to customize services for individual customers while still being efficient. For example, Netflix customizing your homepage based on what you watch, but doing it for millions of users efficiently. Relationship marketing in services. Relationship marketing is a strategy that focuses not just on making a sale, but on building strong, long-term relationships with customers. Instead of seeing customers as one-time buyers, companies treat them as partners who will stay loyal over time, leading to repeat purchases, brand loyalty, and even positive word of mouth. The 4 levels of relationship marketing. Level 1 is pricing incentives, the simplest form of relationship marketing. Companies attract customers by offering discounts, coupons, loyalty points, or deals. For example, a coffee shop offering a buy 5 coffees get 1 free card. The main goal is to encourage short-term, repeat purchases by giving customers financial rewards. Level 2 is pricing incentives plus social bands. At this level, companies still offer pricing deals, but they also start creating a social connection with customers. Employees might know customers by name, remember preference, and make the experience personal. Example, your local barbers knows your usual haircut styles and asks about your family. Main goal is to build emotionally loyalty, not just financial loyalty. Level 3 is customization. The focus shift from just price or friendliness to tailoring the service to meet the specific needs of each customer. Companies customize the experience or product so it feels unique to each person. Example: Spotify creating personalized playlists based on your listening history. The main goal is to make customers feel that the service fits them perfectly, increasing satisfaction and loyalty. Level 4: Pricing plus social bonds plus structural bonds. The most advanced and strongest level of relationship marketing. Level 4: Pricing plus social bonds plus structural bonds. This is the most advanced and strongest level of relationship marketing. Structural bonds means creating systems, contracts, membership, or technological ties that make the relationship long-term and harder to break. For example, a bank offering a bundled package of services like credit cards, loans, savings that are all linked together. The main goal is to build such strong connections that it becomes inconvenient for the customer to leave. Internal marketing in service firms. This concept emphasizes that employees are the first customers of a company. If a business wants to deliver great service to external customers, it must first treat employees well. This involves training and development, supportive leadership, good communication, and motivation and rewards. A satisfied, well-informed employee is more likely to provide outstanding customer service. Internal marketing is especially vital in service firms where employees are the face of the company. Non-profit organization marketing. Non-profit marketing is different from business marketing because the goal is not to make money, gain market share, or maximize profits. Instead, nonprofits focus on achieving a mission like helping people, protecting the environment, supporting education, or promoting health. The role of marketing here is to build connections between the nonprofit organization and its target audience, even though they're not selling a product for profit. Nonprofits exist to serve a cause, not to make profits. Their success is measured by how well they fulfill their mission, not how much money they earn. They often serve a broad and diverse audience, which can make it harder to define specific target market. Their product is often intangible, like education, public health, or awareness, rather than something physical. They usually have limited resources for marketing campaigns. Customers or users might not even be the one paying for the services. Services might be complicated, requiring lots of explanation or promotion to make people aware of what's available. People may not naturally be highly motivated to engage with nonprofits unless they feel personally connected to the cause. Nonprofit organization is a group that exists to achieve social, environmental, cultural, or community goals, not to make a profit. For example, Red Cross, World Wildlife Fund, local charities, and public museums. The effort nonprofits make to build awareness, attract supporters, gain volunteers, and raise funds. They still need to market themselves, often even more carefully than businesses, because their survival depends on the support and trust of the public. Public service advertisement. A special type of advertisement that promotes a program, behavior change, or social cause rather than selling a product. Example, a public service advertisement about the dangers of smoking, encouraging people to quit. PSAs are often supported by government, health organizations, or nonprofits. Global issues in service marketing. Service firms operating internationally face several challenges and opportunities. The US leads the world in service exports, for example, in finance, education, and consulting. To compete globally, companies must understand cultural differences, adapt services and promotions to local preference, follow legal and regulatory standards, and manage diverse workforce and expectations. Global service marketing requires a flexible and culturally sensitive approach, adjusting the marketing mix based on the country's unique market dynamics.